Hey guys, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we are going to talk about, well, it's really one of your requests. One of our comments requested a video about marketing, and I really appreciate when you guys make requests, by the way, because some days camera guy Kurt and I are like, what are we going to film about today? So when you make requests, it tells us what direction you'd like to see us go, and that is really awesome for us. And they asked about doing a film about marketing and how we market a ball python. And marketing's really simple. One, the first thing about marketing is we have some snakes we need to sell now. So I'll go ahead and grab a couple of them out. We have this little ghost female. Ooh, I'm making a mess on the table here. We've got her. She needs to get sold. And we've also got this pastel lesser het ghost. And it's a he. It needs to get sold. Those are two snakes we need to get sold. And we actually have two of these. Het True Ghost. Ooh, somebody took a poop. He just shed and had a bowel movement, and I'll deal with that too here in a minute. So these are three snakes that we actually need to sell at the moment. The first thing I would suggest doing is you want to take pictures. And there's kind of a way you do that. I'll move those two guys over there. One, I'm going to take a picture with a couple different backgrounds. And you can use a really nice high-end camera if you want. Obviously ours is tied up at the moment. So we're going to use a cell phone. And I don't like to doctor the pictures because I want the picture to be natural. But you want to have the light. Don't put a shadow in your picture. Get a nice, good picture. And then maybe change your lighting a little bit. Get another one. Also, change your background color. I don't try to do anything too crazy, but you're going to want to put it on and I've used paper for this or all kinds of different things. And I've never used paper towels. We're going to give it a shot. Probably should actually use paper. This just happened to be what I had laying around in there. And you want to take pictures like that. And the reason you want to do that is you're going to find some snakes look better on a light background. Some look better on a dark background. And so I like to take pictures of all of that. And that way, whenever the time comes, I can look at the picture, pick my favorite to post in the ads. I'm not stuck with just one color. And it only takes a second to take an extra picture. I mean, it really does. So, why not take that extra picture just to make sure that everything looks good. And so we got our pictures done. And then the next thing that we do is the vast majority of our snakes, I always get one that's a runner, are sold here locally. And so we're going to take these pictures, and I'm going to make an ad. There's probably a better way to do it than I do, honestly, because I am not the most technologically savvy person in the world. And when we make an ad, I'm going to copy the wording so I can just paste it the exact same way to multiple spots. I'll use several local Facebook groups in my area. I'll use Craigslist. I will post it on my page a lot of times, the Olympus Reptiles page. And I'll post these all over the place. And then I'll go through there once a day and I'll bump the ad to the top. And I try to pick hours when people would be looking at ads. So I try to vary it between like 5, 6, 7 o'clock. And get that ad near the top during different times. I always set the ads to where I get notified if somebody comments on it so I can respond right away. And that's really all there is to marketing that snake. The other thing is I set a fair price. It doesn't mean I'm going to set a bargain basement price. I'll give you an example. This ghost female, we're going to set it $100. I think that's a reasonable price for a recessive visual female. Especially, ghosts are one of the older recessives out there. I think that's a good price for her. That's what I'm going to put her at. I'm not going to set her down to $35 or anything crazy like that just to sell her, because when you do that, you're selling yourself short. If you want to sell your snakes for that, that's your prerogative, and I'm not going to fault you for how you do your business, but you are selling yourself short for the amount of work and effort you put into some of these things. So you want to make sure that you're getting a fair return out of it for what the value really is. That being said, because the value was a banana on a banana 4 years ago or 5 years ago was $10,000, does not mean that it's $10,000 today. So you also need to be reasonable with your prices. There's a balance there. So that's how we're going to do things. The other thing we do to market ourselves is, you got to remember, yeah, I have this really cool snake I'm selling. But I'm not marketing just a snake, because there's 1,000 people like me that have a really cool snake for sale. So you have to market yourself. You are for sale as much as your animal is. You have to provide things other people don't have, and you have to get whoever it is that you're marketing to trust you and want to buy this animal from you instead of the next guy down the street. There's a couple ways that we have found to do that. One, we try to connect with our customers, whether that's through Facebook or through these YouTube videos. I mean, honestly, guys, this is a way of marketing. That's why we started YouTube. We didn't start it to become YouTube stars, and let's be honest, we're far from that anyway. We started it as a way to help market our animals and get our name out there in the hopes that when we'd go to a show or something, people would be like, hey, I've seen those guys somewhere, and maybe help them purchase from us. Another thing is when we produce an animal, and the vast majority of animals that I sell, I produce. There are a few exceptions. This snake is actually one of them. It came as part of a group purchase. I'm not big into flipping. I know people who have bought snakes, have them for sale the next day. We don't do that. We keep them for at least 30 days, make sure they're healthy, make sure they're eating good, make sure their weight is good, make sure there's no problems before we even think about trying to put them on the market, which is what we've done with this animal here. We've had it for that long. We'll also sell it at a pastel lesser price. Since I didn't produce it, I can't guarantee the het ghost. It's supposed to be het ghost. I'll tell you it was sold to me as a het ghost, but I'm going to price it as what I would price a pastel lesser for, because I can't make that guarantee. On everything that I produce that I sell, it comes with serial numbers. Like every snake comes with paperwork. It has my personal phone number on it. It has Camera Guy Kurt's personal phone number on it, so you can get a hold of us anytime. We try to make it look fairly professional. Has some care instructions for basic care in case it's a new owner, new to snakes. It also has the genetics in the snake. It has the parents of the snake's genetics, so it lists the pairing, who the male was and the female was. And then it has a unique serial number. The serial number is the year of birth, is the first two numbers. The second two numbers are the clutch we produced that year. So an example would be like 1603. It would be 2016, the third clutch. And then the next two numbers are the baby number. So if it's 160311, I know right now that's 2016, clutch number 3, baby number 11. And that's really important when you deal with hets, which we do make a lot of hets. We're producing a lot of double recessive stuff, like that het ghost I showed you. Is het true ghost, not het ghost. It's het true ghost. It was an axanthic bred to a ghost to make those. When you sell that animal, I want to guarantee its genetics. And I want, if somebody else buys that down the road and they get that paperwork, they can call me up and say, hey, I got this snake and it came with this paperwork. Can you tell me what it really is? I can go, oh yeah, the number is 160311. Let me look. Yep, 160311 was this pairing to this pairing. If you got the right snake with that paperwork, it is a guaranteed to be this. Simple as that, guys. That's why we do that. And I think that's the way of marketing, because it sets you apart. It makes you appear more professional than the guy who's just, hey, I got this snake. You have to set yourself apart from other individuals. That also goes deeper than just selling snakes. What I mean is most people who have snakes participate in online forums or participate in some of the Facebook groups and some of those things. And some of those things, wow, some of them are some of them are a hot mess. Let's be really honest. Other of them are pretty decent. Don't go on there and be an asshole. Okay, just refrain from being an internet asshole. And I know that's hard. It's hard for all of us because there are times you see somebody and they're just being an ass, and you feel like you need to respond in kind. And I keep wanting to call her Camera Girl. Question Girl will tell you I'm the worst in traffic. She's probably heard me say obscenities that she never even knew existed when I'm driving down the road at times. Is that fair to say?
Capiche.
We all have that gut reaction, but you got to put yourself in check and remember that when you go online and you make yourself sound like an asshole to somebody else, you're not just doing that to that person. Everybody who's on there can read those comments. They can read that. And you're going to end up making yourself look like pretty petty and pretty small. And we're all human. We all screw stuff up, me included. But it's something that you have to kind of think about, and I had to think about too, is all those people that read that, they're all potential customers one day, especially if you want to grow this big where you're shipping snakes across the nation. You don't want to put yourself out as being this, egotistical jerk face ass, because then nobody's going to want to buy from you. I know there are people that I would never buy from because I've seen the way they conduct themselves with other people. I'm just like, I wouldn't want to deal with you. So make sure you don't become that same person that you wouldn't want to deal with. You have to be the person that you'd want to actually buy from all the time. And sometimes it's hard. There are going to be days that you don't really want to smile and talk to people. There are going to be customers sometimes who ask you 5 billion questions because they're new to it, and you feel like you've answered those questions every day for a month. But guess what? You better smile, you better suck it up, you better treat them good, and you better answer them again. And then you better be okay when they say, okay, thanks, walk away and go to Petco and buy a snake, and call you a week later because the snake they got at Petco has problems. That's going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen. And you're going to have every desire to tell them, hey, I told you so. And it may not be Petco. Maybe they buy it from some guy's basement, which is what I'm actually in right now. And it has mite infestation and all this, and they're calling you for help. But you've got to remember that person is probably maybe the next you. I don't have one ball python. I got 50 some. I don't know how many ball pythons I got. I'd have to do the math. I think it's like 57, 58. Most of my reptiles are ball pythons. And guess what? The next snake they buy, they're going to remember, you hope, that you helped them. You took good care of them. You gave them good advice. And they're going to know your animals are healthy because of it. And they're going to come to you, and they're going to buy an animal rather than go price shop all the Craigslist ads, because you're going to develop that trust. So sometimes you're not even marketing yourself for the sale you're going to make today. You're marketing yourself for the sale you're going to make next year. It's an investment in every person you talk to. And you have to remember that. You have to market yourself, even more so than you market these animals. That's the key, guys. I mean, online marketing is not that hard. It's good pictures, a good ad, and it's just banging your head on the wall until somebody buys it. But marketing yourself, that's a lot harder. But you have to do it. You want to see people who are good at it, go watch car salesmen. That's what they do all day long. You're kind of the same thing. I mean, except for you're going to be honest with people. But you're marketing these, but you should be really passionate about what you're doing. And it shouldn't be that hard. You just got to be nice to people and remember you were new ones too. So that's kind of my advice on marketing. I hope that's what you were looking for. Question girl, you got any questions?
Yes.
I missed this part.
How do you come up with your descriptions in the online posts that you create?
It's pretty simple. One, I try to have a picture first and foremost that makes a snake pop, makes a snake look good, without making any Photoshop. The other thing I tend to do is, she's telling me I look at the camera, not at her. See, that's one of those things that takes time to get used to doing. The other thing I tend to do is I don't get too crazy. I try to, just use happy, bubbly words, throw an exclamation mark in there when appropriate. List the genetics, list the sex, list the price. I mean, you want your price, your sex, your genetics all in there. I also put the weight, and another thing too is we don't sell any snake until it's eaten for us on its own a minimum of 3 times and also weighs a minimum of 80 grams. We just don't do it. We don't do it. I don't even post them till they're at. Sometimes I'll post a clutch and say, hey, these are going to be available soon. And I'll have people say, oh, I want this. I'll be like, yeah, that's great. I'll put your name on it, and I'll call you when it hits these 2 things. And then I call them up. I don't even take any money from them when it's actually available. Say, hey, do you still want that? And then we can start working on the payment plan or actually doing the sale. But I don't take a dime on anything until it's hit those 2 parameters. So, yes, question girl.
You just mentioned a payment plan. Mm-hmm. Do you usually include that in your ad? And how does your payment plan usually work?
I do sometimes include that. I need to do a better job of how that works. Mostly because I didn't really set many parameters, and we're going to actually this coming season come up with a written contract on how long and all of that. Just because otherwise you end up on a 8-month thing, and I kind of feel bad if if we don't have that. So we're going to start doing that. I don't usually include on every ad. If it was a fairly expensive snake, I might, include the payment plan and put some of the parameters in the ad. But otherwise, if somebody brings it up, then we talk about it. So that's kind of how that's set up. And my typical plan right now would probably be, on a normal price snake, it'd probably be like at least 10% down, non-refundable, unless something happens to the snake in my care, then it's fully refundable. But non-refundable if they elect not to purchase. And then balance due, and we'll probably start with 3 months. If they need longer, we can do it for a little longer, but we want to get something in writing there, we can get something done. That doesn't mean I wouldn't be flexible with them. I mean, I understand shit comes up. It happens, but we want to get that worked out. Yes?
What constitutes an expensive snake? Like, are we talking $200, or are we talking like $400? Are we talking like $100? What makes it expensive?
Expensive is obviously in the eye of the beholder. What's expensive to one person may not be expensive to another person. What Bill Gates thinks of as expensive is probably different than what I think of as expensive. So he obviously has a lot more money than me. If you know who Bill Gates is, I'm sure you do. So, I would probably say if I was asking over like $500, over $400, I would list the payment plan in the ad. Anything under, I would still do a payment plan if the person wanted one, but it would be more of a they ask. And I don't find people have a problem asking about it. I've had plenty of people inquire about that. So another thing we do is we try to provide good customer service, which means that if people want to come look at the snake, we make arrangements to have that happen. We also provide free delivery within reason. What I mean is, if it's a snake priced at like $100 and less, there's one range we'll deliver for free. $200 and less or $200, or more we'll deliver even further out, and then more we'll deliver even further out. We obviously have to. We can't sell a $100 snake and then drive 300 miles to deliver it. We would lose money. So, but we do try to even offer delivery and things like that to make it easier for people, as opposed to shipping. So, we do ship if we need to, but that's obviously expensive. And yeah. Any other questions, question girl?
You got him.
I got him, Kurt.
What other places can you sell your pythons besides just listing them online?
That's an excellent question. If you have a good reptile specialty shop, you can go there, and a lot of times you can work with them and sell them on a consignment type thing. I've done that. I used to do that. Now we own part of the local reptile shop, so hey, a little different when you actually own the brick and mortar, but that is a good way to do it. And the brick and mortar will often buy snakes from you too. But remember, if you take a snake into a brick and mortar to sell it, it's different than selling it online. And what I mean is, it's a different price point, because you're talking, not quite online, person to person is one price. Selling it to a brick and mortar shop, they then have to hold that snake and wait for a customer to walk in and sell it at a retail price, so it's a little bit different. So they're going to have to, obviously they can't pay you full price and then sell it for the same. They would not make any money and actually lose money. So they're going to be offering you like a wholesale offer. So if you're going to do the brick and mortar sale, you need to be prepared to take less money for that animal. It's just the way it works. Another option is shows. Shows are a great option. Like we have a show every 2 months that's fairly local, a couple hours away. We've also been in Tinley Park. I've also been in Florida. We didn't vend in Florida, we were just there, but I've sold snakes in Chicago at Tinley Park. When you do a show, though, you got to remember, it's kind of like there may be 50 vendors there. In Tinley Park, there's more than that. And they're all doing the same thing, right? They're all there to sell reptiles. I mean, they're not there to play tiddlywinks. So again, this is where that marketing yourself comes in. You have to set yourself apart. So you need to make sure that your table looks good, your display looks nice, you use the colors you want if you're using deli cups in the displays. Have it well lit. Engage people. When you see people walk up, say hello and engage them. Don't be a pushy dick, but engage them and talk to them. Hey, how's it going? Anything you want to see? Market yourself, market your animals. Take pride in the animals on your table. Because if you don't take pride in them, they're not going to either. So be proud of what you do. And you have to be a salesman. Like, you have to market that. You have to be willing to get up and talk to people. If you don't want to talk to people, it's going to be rough at a show. because somebody else is going to do it. If you have something really cool and exciting at your table, I have found that helps too. We went to Tinley Park, and there, if you've been to Tinley Park, you know it's vast, and there's vendors everywhere, and you have huge names there. Like that's where we shot the video we did with Brian Barczyk. Was there at Tinley Park because he's there. I mean, it's freaking Brian Barczyk, okay? You're not going to get really a bigger name in the industry that's more recognizable than that. So you have to set yourself apart. One thing we did is we had baby tegus that we bred at the brick and mortar. And there's not a lot of tegus out there, but there are some. But we also brought the mother tegu. So we had this big red tegu we could take out and let people pet to get them excited about the tegus and see how friendly and tame they are. And when that tegu was out, you could see a crowd almost start to form. People would want to stay, they'd want to hang out, they'd want to ask questions, and they'd start looking at your other stuff. So you need to have something to grab attention. At the local show here in town we do every year, we have our table set up with our snakes, and yet we also run the venomous display. So right beside my table, I've got the only venomous snakes in the room. And we're also taking care of them, answering questions about them. And they're just displayed, they're not for sale. We have inquiries every year, and every year we have to say absolutely under no circumstances we only let them talk money because it's not allowed to be sold there. But we have the only ones there for display, and that attracts people to your table. So you've got to, I don't want to say a gimmick, but you want to set yourself apart. Nice display, and if you have something really cool that you can feature, that helps. That helps. So make sure and feature a few things. We had a world's first ball python at Tinley Park too, or what we think is a world's first. We have to breed it to be sure everything's in there, but we had that. You've seen that on the videos. So those kind of things just kind of help make an attraction, and that's what you really need to be. So you're not a guy with just 5 snakes, or even 50 snakes who looks just like the 50 snakes your neighbor has. So that would be the suggestion I would make. Anything else, Kurt?
Nope, that's all.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this is what you were looking for with the marketing. If not, let me know. We can try to do something different. But mainly, don't forget your local markets. Take good pictures. Post your ad with good spelling. People are going to read that and judge it, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. So make sure your words are spelled right. If they're not, fix it. Respond to comments quickly. Be courteous. Be nice. Remember, you're not just marketing your snake, you're marketing yourself. And if you don't get the sale today, you still have to take care of that customer because it may be a sale for you next year. It's the best advice I can give you guys. Thanks for watching.